Teachers very often say that writing time is the hardest time of the day. Students have so many issues getting started and knowing what to write. But when teachers really know their students as writers, they're able to more effectively meet their needs.
That is perfect.
Oftentimes, students have a little anxiety when it comes to not only sharing work, but just writing in general. And when they're able to feel more comfortable and safe, they really can be much more successful. When teachers know about their students' identities, it helps them to not only build that trusting relationship, but also to assist the students in generating ideas and being able to elaborate on their stories. So one thing that students can use would be the web circle. We have a circle in the middle where they put their name, lines shooting out where they include the things about themselves. There's also something called a part map. So for kindergarten to second grade, students might be sharing things like their favorite food and colors and hobbies. For third through eighth grade, but they also might share things like their character traits, talents that they have, and maybe even more about their family and their culture. And then the final activity would be that of a questionnaire. This could be completely teacher-made, or you could find templates or examples online as well. Pre-assessment activities are going to serve as a baseline in the beginning of a unit to identify the skills that students have mastered and their needs. So one thing you could use for a pre-assessment activity would just be an on-demand piece of writing where you would give the students a prompt. You might give them a time limit, which could vary by grade level. You would choose the genre, for example, a narrative story or an opinion piece. When teachers look over the pre-assessment, there will be some students who haven't written anything. And so for those students, you know that either they weren't sure what they were supposed to do, or it's very difficult for them to get engaged in their work. If you see that students had written quite a bit, but they might not be on topic, or they might not have even written in the correct genre, that's usually a pretty easy fix. If there's a student who has a pretty well-established story, they will not need as much of that foundational work and will be ready to move on into more involved writing skills.
Love it.
When students really believe that the teacher knows them as a learner, it increases their motivation. Teachers know exactly what students need and how they can best support them. They feel like they have a handle on what they need to do during writing time, which builds teacher confidence.
Got that vocabulary word in there. Nice work.